Straight all day.
Tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called, let's all say it together, work on your game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic: we are not all equals. No, we are not all equals. I know that some brand that you follow, some influencer who you are listening to on the internet, inexplicably you are listening to them, some what do we call it, ad campaign has promoted this idea. Maybe your parents, maybe your teachers at school, maybe some transgender promoting person, maybe some feminism promoting individual has told you that we are all equal, and they are promoting this idea of equality and that everybody is the same and we should all get the same outcomes. There are people who've written books about this, and they're getting consulting gigs and doing speaking engagements based off this concept. It is all bullshit. No, we are not all equal. And I'm going to explain exactly why momentarily. First of all, let me tell everybody I have a daily motivation text. How is that a setup for this? How is that for a setup for this? Daily motivation text. Message guaranteed to keep you focused, sharp, and on point every single day. No bullshit. Straight, real conversation, text message every morning that is guaranteed, as I said, to keep you focused, sharp, and on point and not going into bullshit land. You want to get that message straight from me? Here's what you do. Text me at my number right now, 305-384-6894. And every day when I send that text, you will be on the receiving end of it, if you're not scared. Now, with that said, let's get into the topic. We are not all equals. I gave you a little bit of an introduction to it just a moment ago. I told you back in episode 1622 why equality is impossible. I told you episode 1619, ironically enough, episode 1619, it was not planned that way, that racial inequality is a fight that is not going to be won. Episode 730, that was over, what was that, 3-4 years ago? This is way before all of this social justice shit popped off. I told you that equality was a myth. And I like to tell you how I've been talking about this stuff since way before it became popular, because I don't want any of you to think that I'm out here trying to ride a wave on a topic. This is stuff that I've been talking about since way before it was popular, way before anybody was trying to chase a check in order to talk about these things. I've been talking about them. In episodes 2200 through 2205, I told you how sports has become feminized. The entire industry of sports, not just games. I'm talking about the industry of sports has been feminized. That was episode 2200 through 2205. And today we're going to talk about why we are not all equals, why everyone will not get the same equal outcomes, or everyone is not going to start at the same point. It doesn't make any sense. There are people who are hustling you and trying to convince you that this is the way that it's supposed to be, or that is the ideal situation. It is not the ideal situation. It will never be the situation, regardless of whether you think it's ideal or not. It is not realistic. It's scientifically impossible. It goes against the laws of physics. It goes against a whole bunch of other laws. The law of reciprocity. It goes against a whole bunch of laws. We're going to get into that today. First of all, let's get a definition of this word equal, so that you all understand why we are not this. Definition of equal means being the same in quantity, size, degree, or value. The point of today's masterclass is for all of us to understand that we are not all the same. There are levels to this life in all industries and all spaces of life, whether in relationships, whether financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, communication-wise, relationally, at work, at school, in the gym. Everywhere in between those places, there are levels to this, and not everyone's on the same level. And everybody needs to understand this. First of all, accept it, and then get in where you fit in. Because we're not always all going to be on the same level in every aspect of life, nor should we be. And this is the way it's supposed to be. With that said, let's get into it. Topic again today is we are not all equals. Number one, let's understand status roles. In episodes 1187, in episode 1173, I talked about the roles that need to be filled on every successful team in life, there are roles that must be filled. And not everybody can play the same role, right? Everybody can't be Batman or He-Man or Superman or Wonder Woman in every movie. Everybody can't be the star actor in every Broadway play. There are roles that need to be played. There are the stars, there are the supporting cast. We all understand this, right? On a football team, everybody can't be the quarterback. On a basketball team, everybody can't be Steph Curry or LeBron James. You need role players. You need the guys on the bench. You need a coach. You need assistant coaches. You need guys who grab rebounds. You need guys who make the pass. You need the guys who play defense. You need the guys who score the points. Everybody can't play the same role. Everybody, and also I explained how on every team, everybody is a role player, because being Michael Jordan is a role. All right, being Jerry Seinfeld is a role. Being the leading actor in the play on Broadway, that is a role in itself, because if the leading actor doesn't do their job, then the supporting cast has nothing to support. So the leading person has to play their role as well. There was a player that I was coaching years back. I was training years back. He was a basketball player. This is back when I did basketball training selectively. And this is down here in Miami, and he was going into his either junior or senior year of college. And the expectation of him was that he was going to be the leading scorer on his team this upcoming season. He was kind of nervous about the fact that all the attention would be on him as the top scorer, which in the basketball world, especially in America, that's the thing. The person who scores the most points gets all the attention. And he was nervous about that, rightfully so. I helped explain to him, same thing that I'm telling you now, is that even though, yes, as the leading scorer, you are going to get the most attention because you're scoring all the points, and that's what people notice here. That's what we emphasize in the basketball world in America. At the same time, you are helping your team out by doing your job. Your job is to score a bunch of points, where at the same time, you have a teammate whose job is grab all the rebounds. You have another teammate whose job is pass the ball to you so you can score. You have another teammate whose job is be the defensive stopper so that you can slow down the leading scorer on the other team in every game. You have a teammate whose job is, listen, just come to practice and work hard every day and make the starters, make them work hard so that they are on point to play in the game, because you know in the game you are not going to play at all. You're going to be sitting on the bench waving a towel. Everyone has a role. In every job, every organization, every team in life, from families to business to sports, there's a role that needs to be played, and everyone must play their role. The leader got to play their role. The person at the bottom of the totem pole needs to play their role. Everybody is a role player. In life, every organization must have a boss. And notice that I said have a boss. That means a senior individual, person on top who's calling the shots. Senior doesn't necessarily mean older. There's a person who's calling the shots, person in charge. Even if your organization is just one person, you, individual listener, that doesn't have a team, you must be the boss of your own organization. Everybody else in the organization must fall in line according to their status, according to their role, and according to their position. Anyone listening to this have a job? Anybody listening to this run a business? Okay. Are there roles there? Does everybody have the same status? Does everyone have the same power? Does everyone have the same level of influence? Does everyone have the same say-so? There are some people, any of you listening to this right now, who's at work or on your way to work, you understand this, right? There are some jobs that you've had in your life where you get to tell other people what to do because you have a certain status that allows you to do that, and you have a certain level of seniority that allows you to do that. You've also had jobs, depending on how long you've been in the workforce, where somebody could tell you what to do, and you did it because of your status and your role in that particular place compared to their status and their role in that particular place. This is the way that it's supposed to be. Okay, any parents listen to this? Do your kids tell you what to do, or do you tell them what to do? All right, when you were a kid, did your parents tell you what to do, or did you tell them what to do? We all understand that there are roles in life. There's levels to this shit. Everybody in the organization has to fall in line according to their status, according to their role, and according to their position. Anybody who's trying to make it seem as if everyone is equal is either a really smart individual trying to deceive low-level, non-critical thinkers, like I talked about in episodes 1826 and 1827. They're trying to deceive people who are not critical thinkers into thinking that they are more needed than they actually are. So they're basically taking the role players and telling them, hey, you know what? You should get the same billing as the star. No, you shouldn't. There's a reason why the star is the star. There's a reason why you are on the bench. And there are some people who need to be on the bench. So we need people on the bench. Everybody can't play in the game at the same time. This is just the way that it works. So the person who is trying to tell you that everyone should be equal is either trying to deceive the low-level people into revolt and thinking that they deserve more than they should actually get. And this is actually a clever strategy because there are more people at the lower level of a pyramid than there are at the higher level of a pyramid. So if you can get the masses, the people at the bottom level, to revolt against the people at the upper level, just on the strength of numbers, they actually have a chance. All right, this is why it works. This is why when they had that, remember they had that Occupy Wall Street years ago? It was the 99% protesting against the 1%. Well, it's way more people in the 99% than are on the 1%. So the 99% can actually, they just have a scale. They have the masses on their side. They can draw some attention at least simply because they have numbers on their side. And this is what people are doing when they're trying to tell the lower level individuals, well, you deserve more than you're actually getting. Well, no, you don't. That's why you are a low level individual. That's why you got what you got. You don't deserve anything until you actually have it. So either they're trying to deceive the low level people, which is usually the case, into thinking they deserve more than they should have, or that they are more needed than they actually are, or they're one of those people who wants to think that they matter more than they do. Maybe they're one of the low level people themselves and they want to believe that they matter more than they actually matter. But see, if you did actually matter, you wouldn't have to protest about it. You would just do it. You would just do what you had to do and you would get what you think you deserve. But understand, roles in life matter, status matters, and everybody has a position to play. You don't play your position, then what happens is when people start not playing their position and they don't get checked to go back to the position that they belong in, somebody steps out of playing their role and nobody tells them, hey, you're not playing your role, go back to playing your role or get the hell out of here. If nobody checks them and we allow this, you know what happens? We get chaos. Chaos happens when standards get removed. And one of the standards of life, one of the standards of humanity, and I'll explain to you how you know this is a standard of humanity, is that there are roles and positions to be played. How you know that this is a natural occurring thing in the world? Don't look at humans, look at animals. Animals don't have the ability to rationalize. They don't have the ability to storytell. Now, animals don't have Twitter and Instagram and emails. Now, they don't campaign. Animals just live naturally and they do things off of instinct. Any of you who has animals, if you have multiple animals, you know there are status roles amongst animals. Now, animals have status. If you have dogs, if you have more than one dog in your home, there's an alpha dog who's the one in charge, and then the other dogs fall in line behind the dog that's in charge. Can we all agree to this? Of course, if you have chickens, if you have cattle, any kind of animals, there are status roles that get played. But when people don't want to follow those status roles, they should get checked. If they don't get checked, what we end up with is chaos. Moving on, point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is we are not all equals, nor should we be. Number 2, when somebody forgets what position they're playing, bad things happen to them and to the organization. I'll give you a quick story. Back in 1994, this baseball manager by the name of Terry Francona, he was coaching a minor league baseball team called the Birmingham Barons. Now, the significance of that is that there was a guy on the team who had just retired from basketball who decided to try his hand at baseball this particular year. His name was Michael Jordan. He was playing for this Birmingham Barons minor league baseball team. So one day on an off day, the players on the baseball team and the coaches all together, they were playing pickup basketball. It was like a team bonding activity they were doing. They're playing pickup basketball. Michael Jordan's playing. Now Terry, the manager of the team, he's the boss of the team, the baseball team. He's on the same team as Michael Jordan on the basketball court while they're playing this day. And in one particular game, Terry took the last shot and he missed the shot. And his team, which included Michael Jordan, they lost that game. Now later on that day, according to the story, Terry Francona told this story, Michael pulled Terry aside later that day after all the pickup games were done and said to Terry, and he said it in a very stern way, he said, hey Terry, don't you ever take the last shot in a game. I always take the last shot. Now mind you, this is Michael Jordan talking to his, technically Terry Francona was his boss on the baseball team, but in that moment, in that environment, Michael Jordan was the boss on the basketball court. Now when he got on the baseball field, Terry went back to being the boss on the basketball court. Michael was letting Terry know, this is what I'm talking about. When somebody steps out of their role and they're doing something they ain't supposed to be doing, somebody's supposed to check them. That's how we maintain order in a society. That's how we maintain standards. I remember working with this guy named Mike at LA Fitness. He was a personal trainer. He got mad at management, Mike. He got mad at management one day because they told him he couldn't do something, or he had stepped out of his role in some way. Management checked him and told him he couldn't do the thing that he was trying to do. And he came venting to me, talking about, hey, I could take all my training clients and train them in the parking lot. I'd keep 100% of the revenue for myself instead of giving a cut to LA Fitness. I'm doing them a favor by even training my clients in here. He was just basically venting to me when he knew talking to me wasn't going to solve his issues. But I knew, as well as Mike did at this point, that what he was sharing was complete bullshit. And if Mike really could do what he was threatening to do or claiming he could do, he would have already been doing it. Now, he wouldn't even been working at LA Fitness. He would have just been training his clients in the parking lot like he said he could do. Only reason he had those clients is because they found him at LA Fitness. So LA Fitness was actually doing him much more of a favor than he was doing LA Fitness. And again, regardless of what Mike said, let's look at his actions. He was working at LA Fitness. So I think he understood as well as I did. He was just frustrated in the moment. So he was saying whatever he was saying to serve his ego, but he knew the truth as well as I did. I didn't even say anything to him, but we can look at the results. And Mike was still working at LA Fitness when I stopped working there. All right, that's just a fact. Him doing LA Fitness a favor was a complete fallacy. He knew that. Again, that's why he was still working there. And when I left, he was still employed by LA Fitness. Who knows where he's at now? Shout out to Mike. But the point is, everybody needs to know their role. And we have to remember our roles. And there's a reason why we had checks and balances in our systems in life, so that people don't get out of line. If they do get out of line, somebody puts them right back in line. And if we're not putting people back in line when they're stepping out of line, stepping out of their roles, then we get this ridiculous idea that everybody's supposed to be equal. Everyone's supposed to get equal outcomes. No, that's not the way it's supposed to be. All right, people have sold the 99% on this idea. They have sold the masses on this idea. And because of the economies of scale that the masses have, because they just have more people, there are more people buying into this bullshit. It is not true. Now, if you don't want to be part of the people, you don't want to be one of the people at the bottom of the pyramid, do the work that will get you to the higher level of the pyramid. All right, just joining some quote unquote movement of people that say we deserve more than we're getting right now is not going to move you out of the 99%. You'll still be in the 99%. You just found friends. All right, you just got more friends in the 99% who are down at the bottom of the pyramid with you. That doesn't move you up the pyramid. All right, you got to do real work to get real results. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is we are not all equals. This is another point about your truth versus the truth. And there's a difference between your truth and the truth. We just talked about this a few days ago. You may think that it's your truth that everyone is equal, but when push comes to shove and a serious situation takes place, we find out very clearly that not everybody's on the same level. There's a soccer player by the name of Megan Rapinoe. She has basically grabbed the flag. She has championed the woke movement. She has championed the feminist movement. She's even championed the transgender movement, even though she's not transgender, at least as far as I know. She even said that parents of female athletes should get over it if a boy decides he's a girl and gets on a girls' sports team and starts beating a female athlete. Megan Rapinoe said that the parents of the female athletes should get over it. They should just get over that fact, and this is just how it is. Megan Rapinoe, a woman, says this. And she has championed this whole thing. She has championed the whole alleged equal pay thing that female athletes deserve. Allegedly, they deserve equal pay. I addressed that bullshit argument in episode 1795, why female athletes do not deserve quote unquote equal pay, whatever that is that she was talking about. It's a very, you just listen to the episode, you can hear it yourself. Megan Rapinoe has done a lot of this stuff. And one of the things that she says, she is quoted as saying that I am a female athlete and I can do everything that a man can do. Really, Megan? No, you cannot do everything that a man can do. Megan, if you're in your house and a man breaks in, let's say a man is my size, an athlete, works out every day, is 180 or so pounds, athletic, breaks into your house and decides he's going to physically overpower you and do whatever he wants to do once he's in that house, you can't do what a man can do. All right, I know men who are bigger, taller, stronger than me, lift weights more than me. There's certain things they can do to defend themselves against somebody my size that you can't do. And I'm not saying that to attack Megan Rapinoe specifically, just the fact that she made this statement. And there are so many people who co-signed it and said, that's right, a woman can do everything a man can do. No, the hell they can't. That's why we have women and men. If a woman can do everything a man can do, then there'd be no need for women and men. We would just have one group of everybody in the same category. And actually, as a matter of fact, come to think of it, people are starting to move in that direction, are we not? Because we are removing standards. Then now we got people who are, I'm not a gender, I'm not a boy or a girl, I'm just kind of in between. I'm a they, them, I'm a he, it. Fuck All of that. Okay? That's where I stand on this. This is another point I got about your truth versus the truth. Everyone is not equal. And when push comes to shove in life and a serious situation happens, we find out very clearly that not everybody's on the same level. We find out who can do what. As a basketball player, for example, in all my years playing ball, I remember playing with certain players that when we're playing at local gyms like our neighborhood park or the college rec center that we all went to, these players could play a certain way. But when we took these same players and we went to somebody else's neighborhood, or we traveled to play pickup against some other people, we played in a foreign territory, some of those players who looked like stars in the place where they were comfortable, they weren't so comfortable in a foreign territory, and we couldn't expect the same level of performance out of them. Why? Because things change. See, when push comes to shove, you find out how equal people actually are not. Where it sounds good to call everybody equal when everything's rosy and everything's working pretty, everything's copacetic. When push comes to shove and there's a real challenge in life and there's a real situation, we find out, oh no, we ain't equal. Oh, there's a big difference between this person and that person, this group and that group. The reason why we have competition, folks, in sports, we have competition in business. The reason there is competition for relationships is because we ain't all the same. That's why there's competition. If everybody was the same, there'd be no need for competition, would there? We just give everybody an equal trophy. Everybody would get a participation trophy. We wouldn't keep score. We wouldn't notice who has more than who. We wouldn't say who's better than who. There'd be no need for competition if everybody was equal. Because there's no need to prove anything. There's no way one person can be better than another person if we're all equal, right? There'd be no need for this. There'd be no such thing as better if everybody was equal. But since we're not equal, we compete. We compete for resources. We compete for success. We compete for accomplishments. We compete to see who could do it more, better, faster, harder. The very existence of competition proves the point that we're not all equal, because, again, there'd be no need for a competition if everybody was the same. With that said, let's recap today's class, which is we are not all equals. Definition of equal being the same in quantity, size, degree, or value. The point of this masterclass here is for everyone to understand we're not all the same. There are levels to this life. Everybody needs to understand this and get in where you fit in. Number one, status roles. Refer to episodes 1187 and 1173 where I talk about the roles that need to be filled on every successful team. Every successful team has roles being filled, from the superstar to the guy at the bottom of the totem pole. Every role must be filled. And when people are not fulfilling their roles, you get chaos within organizations. Point number two, when somebody forgets what position they play, bad things happen. Like Terry Francona, Michael Jordan said to him, don't you ever take the last shot in the basketball game. That is not your role. That's my role. In LA Fitness, my former co-worker Mike, he was saying, well, I'm doing LA Fitness a favor by bringing my clients here, when Mike knew as well as I did that those were LA Fitness's clients. Mike just happened to be the one that they assigned to deal with those clients. And if Mike really believed what he was saying, he wouldn't have been working at LA Fitness. The whole point is you got to know your role. And when you forget your role, somebody should put you right back in line because you got out of line. And if that's not happening, then you get chaotic situations in life. Like there's a lot of chaos brewing in many areas of life right now, simply because people are forgetting their roles or just deciding they don't want to play them anymore, and nobody is checking them on their bullshit. Number three, there's another point about your truth versus the truth. You may think it's your truth that everybody is equal, but get yourself into a pressurized, challenging situation in life, you're going to find out that not everybody is equal. You'll find out very, very quickly not everybody's equal. This is the reason why we have competition in sports, business, relationships, because we're not all the same. If everybody was the same, then we would just hand out participation trophies, we delete all the scoreboards, there'd be no competition, there'd be no standings, there'd be no championships, because everybody's equal. All right, the reason that we have these things, the reason why we have competition in life is because everybody ain't equal. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it was designed to be. And that's the way it's going to stay, regardless of the bullshit that you hear come out of the mouths of some people who are, again, there's all hustle for a lot of these people, but we're going to take them down. We're going to get them out of here, and we're going to put everybody back in line where they belong, according to your status and what you have earned, based on doing what? Working on your game. So 2 things for you to do right now. Number 1, get my daily motivation text message straight to your phone for free every day. My number is 305-384-6894. And you're ready to step into the Work on Your Game system. That's where I will coach you for 4 weeks on implementing the Work on Your Game system. You get access to the full system, all the courses that I've ever created, all at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Again, that's workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre all day.